Where is it?
We have 6.
Mike Rick should be here.
He can't be in the closed session anyway, so.
Okay. So do we
No.
have a quorum?
Yeah, we need to be for the reading the motion. Thank you.
There you
I
go.
don't ever want to be.
Thank you, officer, for coming today. Appreciate it. Okay, good. You've never been more important. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to recess into closed session pursuant to the exemptions from open meetings allowed by section 2.2-3711 Code of Virginia as amended for the following purposes. Discussion of award of a public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews or bidders, and discussion of the terms or scope of such contract, where discussion in open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711A30.
And then we just
Could
get.
I
we
have
need
a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor?
We need to do the roll.
David Byrne.
Yes.
William Bronke.
Yes.
Naka Shazor.
Yes.
Taylor Franklin.
Yes.
Peter Mueller.
Yes.
Lisa Murphy.
Yes.
Mike Standing.
Is that that?
Yeah.
Not in legal.
Joe Strange. Dot Wood.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, whereas the city of Virginia Beach, I'm sorry, I have to read it like it says. Whereas the Virginia Beach Development Authority of the city of Virginia Beach has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas section 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires the certification by the Development Authority that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Virginia Beach Development Authority of the city of Virginia Beach certifies that to best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from an open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed session to which the certification applies, and only such public business matters as was identified in the motion convening the meeting were heard. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second. Okay, thank you.
And then roll call.
David Byrne.
Yes.
William Bronke.
Yes.
Naka Shazor.
Yes.
Taylor Franklin.
Yes.
Peter Mueller.
Yes.
Lisa Murphy.
Yes.
Mike Standing.
He's outside, he's
Joe Strange.
Yeah.
Dot Wood.
yes. We welcome you all here this morning. We're delighted to have you with us, and we're sorry we just had to take a very quick break. We're happy to have you. Okay, the first thing this morning will be the open floor. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add or talk about, or? Thank you. Could we have a review and approval of the minutes of the October 15th meeting? Can I have a motion to approve it?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you very much.
I abstain. I wasn't there.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Murphy?
Morning, everyone. Going over the monthly cash flows for the authority, which you should have the detail listing on your tablets. I'll be covering the month of October, with the first page being your operating account activity. I have a full agenda today, so I'll try and be as concise as possible, but as always, if you have any questions on anything you see on the sheets, please let me know. Beginning the month of October, we had over $4.6 million of operating funding on hand for our receipts for the period. We had over $90,000 worth of industrial revenue bond fees that were collected. 2 different bond recipients paid in. Below that, under our reimbursements and advances, we had a drawdown from the city's amphitheater CIP program to cover some of the disbursements I'll go over just below shortly. So that was an in and outflow all during the month. For your lease income, you'll see for Virginia Beach National, we collected over $26,000 for 1 month's worth of rent in August. For the operations as well as the capital maintenance components of their rent, the operations amount is remitted to the city treasurer's office later, which you'll see as a disbursement lower here, with the capital maintenance component being retained by the authority for various expenditures that come up at the park. Our last receipt was a little bit of interest income we earned on the savings and CDs accounts of over $3,000. For your disbursements, I want to touch upon the transfer that you'll see labeled as ground rent on your sheets, over $37,000 being remitted back to the treasurer's office. This because all the compiled operations rent that was collected from the golf course for the months of April through June of this calendar year. Typically, we do a quarterly remittance to the treasurer's office for those amounts. Below that, you'll see the full payment of the $140,000 corporate landing conduit connectivity grant. This is the full payment that went to Global Links for them to connect their housing center into the conduit that's been constructed out there at Corporate Landing. For the remittance to Live Nation, this is the full amount of the drawdown from the city, from the CIP fund. These were reimbursements for the city's portion of work at the Gate 2, Brewhouse conversion, and the Lake Plaza stand conversion, all that occurred at the amphitheater. And then finally, for our corporate parks, we had our second progress payment for the construction of the conduit at Corporate Landing, over $350,000 going out to MCG, further work. All the money for that construction comes out of the corporate park capital maintenance funding. So we'd end the month $4,769,796 in operating funding.
So our public-private partnership of the amphitheater has been successful for the authority, is that correct? It looks like it.
Yes, ma'am. We collect yearly rent each year that gets remitted back to the treasurer's office, as well as we have some funding that gets set aside by the city for any of the capital maintenance that goes on.
So it's really successful, thank you.
It is and continues to perform well. And
Thank you.
If there's no other questions, I'll move to the incentive program. Here again, covering the month of November. Over $5 million of incentive cash being held by the authority at the beginning of the month. A loan receipt was interest being earned on the checking account, over $1,000 coming in. For disbursements, we have a few awards being paid out here. The first three, we have affordable and luxury event rentals, Global Technical Systems, and Linkhorn Associates all received partial or full payments of their awards for the capital investment those companies made within the city. The final award you see listed here was a payment for job retention to BN Media, a half payment of their award that was approved, I believe, in April of this year. Skipping down on your listings there, we had a title status check fee related to London Bridge Commerce Center, $500 that comes out from APZ1 incentive funding. And below that, related to our dome site, you may recall earlier this year the authority approved paying for some of the legal fees that are being incurred as the development agreement is going on for the dome site. Over $65,000 being expended during the month to two different legal teams who are working on that. We're tracking those total expenditures, and in the future, if there's plans for a bond issuance to be done, we would file for a reimbursement for all these expenditures as they're going on. And finally, you'll see for the bioaccelerator, nearly $50,000 being expended. This covers the security deposit for the Convergence Center 2 lease, as well as the monthly rents through November of this period, of the bio initiative funding we're using to pay for that. So we have cash on hand at the end of the month over $4.6 million, which carries over to our reconciliation here of available incentive funding. We've adjusted your receivables. That $500 title check fee will file for reimbursement from the city's APZ1 funding pool. We adjust your payables and commitments for any of the award payments that occurred that lower your commitments, as well as any expiring awards. So we're looking at the end of October, available incentive funding going forward, $3,687,000 546. I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone has on the incentive accounts, inflows and outflows. If not, thank you very much.
Again, I could not be more proud of you and our staff and our authority.
Thank you, ma'am.
Doing good work, thank you. Okay. We have a request approval of resolution approving the execution of the Dome Site Development Agreement, authorizing development and execution of supplemental documents, and authorizing the chair to take certain actions. Mr. Williams. And we're gonna have our Christmas party there in 3 years, and everyone's gonna go surfing
Well, that would
in
be
the
pretty
middle of the
cool.
winter.
I'm not wearing a Speedo.
You're required.
Please.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members
Thank
of the authority. If I could take a moment before going over the development agreement, just to do a little intro. I have the pleasure today of presenting to you the collective effort of many people to bring a 25-year vision to reality. With this project, we have an opportunity to leverage our natural, built, and financial assets to maximize our potential. Before I begin, I should recognize several people that helped get us to here today. The leadership of council members Lewis Jones and Guy Tower, and former council member John Earn, who served for the council as liaisons to the project, and liaisons from the Development Authority, Chairwoman Dot Wood, and former members Linwood Branch and Jerry Miller. I'd also have to thank the supporting roles of the City Attorney's Office, the Budget Office, Communications Office, the Departments of Finance, Cultural Affairs, Planning, Economic Development, Convention and Visitors Bureau, and the Singer Davis Law Firm. And we have Steve Davis here with us today in case we have any questions. As a reminder, in February of 2017, at the direction of the City Council, the VBDA issued a request for a letter of qualifications for the development of land assemblage commonly referred to as the Dome Site. Responders were encouraged to demonstrate their ability to transform this site into a family-friendly, unique, mixed-use destination that would include a 3,500-person live entertainment venue, unique or new-to-market retail, unique or new-to-market authentic restaurants, residential but not as a primary use, entertainment concepts, and year-round programming attractive to both local and visitors alike. As you know, amongst the applicants from across the country, Virginia Beach's very own Venture Realty was selected as our preferred development partner. And in January of this year, the City Council and the Development Authority approved a non-binding term sheet outlining the summary of basic terms of a possible development agreement. The developer and city staff negotiated over a course of a 10-month period to arrive at terms for a binding contractual agreement, and that negotiation is now complete. I provide an overview now of the development agreement, and then I'll ask for your consideration of approval of resolution number 3. So there are two key, first, the disclosures here, the principal leadership disclosures with Venture Realty Group, WM Jordan, H2O Investments, the Costin Companies, Pharrell Williams, and the Bashar Development Corporation making up the team for Atlantic Park, Inc. And just to demonstrate also and show our brands here that is part of that partnership with Pharrell Williams having a very prominent relationship in the partnership with Venture Realty Group. Service disclosures listed here. I'll give you a moment to review that. So prior to, I should give you two key points about the development agreement. Number one is that all of the investment by the city is supported by the Tourism Investment Program Fund, or the TIP Fund. As we know, the TIP Fund provides the opportunity for strategic investment in tourism development projects and is supported by dedicated revenue streams, predominantly from hotel, entertainment, and meals taxes. The second is the first structure of the development agreement is that it's the role of the development authority. The VBDA serves as the contractual party, but the agreement will be administered by city staff as the third-party beneficiary. The VBDA owns the collective parcels known currently as the Dome Site. And as we know that the VBDA solicited the RFQ in 2017 and therefore will be procuring the parking, streetscapes, and entertainment venue on behalf of the city. And the VBDA has the authority to enter into longer-term leases than the city, and therefore the agreement is structured around that contractual arrangement. The development agreement is established predominantly in three key sections in order to get us to a final project. So while we've seen the renderings that we've had to date, those have been concepts, and now we will actually have the opportunity. This is a development agreement that gives us a process to get a project. And so the first 9 months will be the due diligence phase where we have potential acquisition of additional lands. We'll determine the site of the entertainment venue, and that depends on the parcels that we do have for final assembly. We'll work through zoning and street closures, financial commitment progress. We'll also petition for the creation of the Atlantic Park Community Development Authority, which I'll come back to in a few minutes. After this initial phase, we will then start into the pre-development phase where we'll actually start to do design and get bids and actually arrive at guaranteeing maximum prices for the purchase cost, particularly for the public assets, which will be the parking, entertainment venue, and the streetscapes. And then finally, a very short period will be the closing to actually then arrive at construction documents and commence construction. Of course, the project will include, and predominantly it's public and private. The private investment is coming with the mixed-use commercial tenant spaces, including retail, experiential retail, restaurants, Class A office space, approximately 425 residential rental units, and then the Wave Garden Lagoon Surf Park. The publicly owned assets will be the entertainment venue with estimated 3,500 ticket purchasers, the structured parking, little over 1,900 spaces, and then pedestrian common areas and amenities commonly found in world-class mixed-use developments. And all projects will be on par with high-quality mixed-use developments that you see across the country. The preliminary project plan, which is one of your exhibits to the development agreement, we do show here reflected the current parcels that we own, with red representing the potential for commercial units and residential, the blue representing the surf park layout, and then we do own the yellow one there where we have currently considering the location for the entertainment venue. We have acknowledged since the term sheet negotiation that we would be acquiring the substation parcel that is owned by Norfolk Southern, but leased by Virginia Power. So we've reflected that there. This area representing the circle, adjacent properties, is what might be considered for additional parcels in order to get the total amount of square footage that you've seen in the concepts to date. As a reminder, the local tax revenues generated by Atlantic Park will flow through, and as a policy, the City Council decided that we will keep our normal distribution. And what we mean by that is that the nearly $8 million of the first estimated year of stabilization that Atlantic Park will generate, the school system is estimated to receive nearly $2 million, the general fund to the city, nearly $3 million, and then the TIP funds, which come as a portion of a performance grant, also are estimated at $3.5 million collectively from the development. Public-private partnership of nearly $325 million in the concepts that we've had to date include private investment of nearly $230 million for retail, residential, commercial, office, and the surf park, and the public investment of $95 million for the parking, streetscapes, and entertainment venue that I've mentioned. Again, paid for with TIP monies. No general fund revenues will be used for the project. Similar to the term sheet, we established a performance grant incentive. We did make a considerable change, though, to the performance grant. Previously, we were considering the Tourism Development Financing Program, Tier 2. We found that was not as marketable, not as attractive, and very complicated to administer in a mixed-use development compared to the hotels where it has traditionally been used in the Commonwealth. And so we made a modification, thankfully, for Senator Wagner and Delegate Knight. They introduced the Virginia Beach Sports and Entertainment Act, which enables us to capture additional sales tax that would otherwise go back to the state. So whereas in the TDFP program, we would have been capturing 1.5% of state sales tax. We now have the ability to capture 2.025% of state sales tax to put back into the project. Then we kept the same dedications of revenues generated on-site only, with the equivalent of, say, 1.5% sales tax, the admissions taxes, and the meals taxes that would otherwise go to the tip on-site go back into for the performance grant. And then we added a new key component that was a replacement for the project partner, whereas they would previously in the TDFP program had a 1.5% access fee. We replaced that with the ability through the CDA for a additional 25-cent real estate tax only on the parcels that are considered Atlantic Park. The performance grant will be dedicated to pay debt service for a bond as part of the financing mix for the project. And the bond financing will be done predominantly through the creation of a community development authority which is site-specific. It will leverage the combined public and private investments and facilitate the development of financing. The CDA will be created by City Council. It has the ability to issue bonds that are not city debt. And the members of the CDA will be council members. Right now, the state code allows for 5 members of a city council to be on the board. We are actually requesting the General Assembly to allow all 11 of our members to actually be the board. So the project construction fund will be created to pay for other project components, and this bond financing comes into the mix. The primary purpose of the CDA, again, is to issue bonds for a portion of the project, which predominantly will be dedicated to parking garages and streetscapes, and then they'll be repaid from the performance grant that I walked you through just a moment ago. There'll be additional real estate tax and admissions taxes in the CDA district that will also go for coverage of the bond to support CDA obligations, for example, overhead and administration of the CDA. And then these special tax revenues are part of the performance grant as well. So a little bit about how it flows. The city will provide the CIP monies with TIP funds to the Development Authority to purchase our assets, our portion of the project. So estimated at $58 million for parking, $7.5 million for streetscapes, and the entertainment venue. It will go, the streetscapes and parking will go into a construction fund. The entertainment venue will flow directly for construction payments. And then Atlantic Park, with the issuance of a bond, it's a portion of the financing of the total $325 million. We'll also put that in construction project fund, and then that'll flow down during construction payments for Atlantic Park completion. So the next steps is your consideration for approval of the development agreement for Atlantic Park. This evening, we also have docketed 2 items for the council. Number 1 is additional appropriation for the acquisition of parcels in the development area, and then consideration for the approval of the development agreement as well. So, Madam Chair, I hope that you'll consider
Thank you so much.
approval.
You know, we really appreciate the time you've spent on it, and Taylor, and members of your staff, and Alex. I know you've had many, many meetings, and it's just such an exciting time for our city.
It's a pleasure to do
I
it.
appreciate it. Mr. Culpepper, would you like to say a word? Or?
Well, thank you for the
Oh, I'm sorry,
opportunity.
I didn't
Yeah, Bruce Berlin and myself, Mike Culpepper, are here on behalf of Venture Realty Group. We have been at this process for roughly 2.5 years and are proud of how we conducted the campaign for public engagement and how we worked collaboratively with folks on staff, both the city and economic development, to bring this to you today. And we appreciate your time and your consideration, and we're happy to answer questions to the extent that you have them. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Extra parcels, they're gonna have to be transferred to the development.
Should we vote on this?
Yes.
Right now? Okay, we're waiting. Okay.
Hey, Ron, can you explain, just so folks understand, how the CDA helps the city leverage its investment in this project and really make the most out of its investment?
A high-quality project of this nature that has certain components that might otherwise, for example, the surf park, which might be considered a venture capital deal. High-quality project like this needs sometimes some gap financing. That's exactly what the TDFP program that we participated in before. The Commonwealth's goal there is twofold. First, what is a tourism gap? Secondly, what's the gap to actually get the quality project you're looking for, a world-class project? And so we're using the CDA, which has been used more than 30 times across the Commonwealth, predominantly in mixed-use developments. We're using that to leverage the ability to get that extra gap financing into the mix. But something that is more solid than the TDFP program and the markets that we've seen for that.
And it doesn't go across against the city's debt.
That's correct. It's not the city's debt.
Anything else? I hear a motion. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anyone opposed? I'm sorry. I don't think so. Thank you so much. And
Thank
we
you.
really look forward to being there. And I think David's gonna be there with his feet up, so when you first go there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, that's good, that was easy. We have a guest here from Doma Technology. Would you like to say a word before we talk about your projects?
Sure. And, first off, I just appreciate the opportunity to be here.
We appreciate
the work
you.
that you've done, Ms. Lancaster, as far as providing this opportunity for the grants, and we appreciate you guys investing in small businesses, and we certainly believe in.
Thank you.
So thank you.
We have a request for approval of resolution for $180,000 for Doma Technology, Part A of the policy. What is that all about? Anyway.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. Be presenting to you a recommendation for Doma Technologies. Again, welcome Mr. Pat Feliciana, who is the owner. The disclosures are Pat Feliciana, who is the president and manager, and Ian Chesia. Owner of the property is going to be Doug McDougall, attorney Van Deventer Black. Banking institution is Town Bank, and accounting is Sherry Beckett Holland. Doma Technologies was established in 2000. They are headquartered in Virginia Beach, currently at 851 Seahawk Circle. They do have 3 other locations, Raleigh, North Carolina, as well as Charlotte and Washington, D.C. This is going to be an expansion of their current location. And they primarily provide document conversions for the federal government. Also, they are a leader in document retrieval, scanning and indexing, quality control, document disposition, document storage through electronic media and IT solutions. They are going to be moving to 585 London Bridge Road. This location is going to consist of 67,000 square feet. The lease term is for 5 years. It's going to be for storage, warehousing, distribution, and processing. Has been approved by the Navy as well as the city of Virginia Beach. It's I-1 zoning. The anticipated completion for the project is going to be March 2020. They did receive an EDIP award October of 2014 for $90,000 based on jobs. That has been satisfied. The investment for jobs, currently they have 175 employees. With this expansion, they will acquire 300 new employees, bringing that to a total of 475, with an average salary excluding benefits of $33,000. Their capital investment for this expansion is going to be $1.2 million for real estate. For furniture, fixtures, and equipment, $150,000. That comprise of $1.3 million. The recommendation to the board is for the EDIP Part A, $180,000. This meets the new job creation criteria of at least 1 new FTA for every 1,000 in EDIP funds. Does meet target industry sector for information technology processing as well as SWAM certified. Any questions?
So,
Yes, sir.
and just one point of clarification, and Letitia has it there on the screen, but just to confirm sort of for this body, that our only participation here is in the creation of jobs. We are not incentivizing capital investment here, only the creation of the job to support the award.
We're always happy to
That
have
is
new
correct.
good jobs.
That's right.
Yes.
Your motion, please.
So moved.
All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. We look forward to you being even more successful in Virginia Beach. We're happy.
Appreciate it.
Okay, in motion, Mr. White.
Good morning, Madam Chairwoman, and also members of the authority. Chanel Harris is okay. We have representative, and do you have others with your company with you today?
Yes, I'm Chanel Harris. I'm
Hi,
part of the
Chanel.
HR team. I also have Ray Myers from California. He's our Chief Administrative Officer. And Darren Cunningham, he's our Senior Project Manager. He's actually was the first Emotion employee in 2015, and then helped us with our finance manager.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for your consideration.
Thanks for being with us today. This is the disclosures for the applicant. I'll leave that up for a moment for you to review. And also for the owner of the property. InMotion Hosting is a web hosting and web design company. They were founded 2001 in California. They opened here in Virginia Beach in 2004. They also have an office in Colorado. Currently in Virginia Beach, they have 2 locations, one on Centero Way, right by the interstate here, and the other over in Seahawk Circle. They're consolidating their operations into one location here in Virginia Beach. The company researched build-to-suit opportunities and also considered other sites in Suffolk, Chesapeake, and Virginia Beach. InMotion Hosting was awarded a $100,000 EDIP grant back in 2010, and of that grant, they received a little over $31,000. As you see, the location that they'll be moving to is Independence Boulevard. If that building looks familiar, it's a fairly recent building. Stratford University, it was their home. Unfortunately, educational facilities with the low unemployment have been hurting enrollment, so they're no longer operating there, and InMotion Hosting is planning on purchasing that facility. You'll see the construction of a little over $2.2 million, furniture, fixtures, and equipment, $97.5, and the real estate to purchase the building, $8,500,000, for a total investment of $10 million and $10,000,008. Jobs, 50 new jobs they're looking to create to add to their 284 here in Virginia Beach at the moment. A great thing about the jobs, the average annual salary is over $51,000. So what we'd like to request is approval of a resolution granting $200,000 in EDIP. $85,000 would be for the capital investment that I mentioned, and $115,000 would be for the new jobs Part A award, again, based on a combination of the capital investment and new jobs to InMotion Hosting. This time, I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Ray, you mentioned the 31,000-ish had been awarded under a prior EDIP. Are we closing that out and rolling?
That has been closed out a while back,
Okay.
and so it's off the records now, so this is completely new.
Thank you. Motion?
And if I can just provide a
Yes,
little
sir.
time. And just, again, for the public and for the body, the reason for the division here on this CDIP, there's 2 things that we're doing here. One, we're very excited about this because it represents considerable capital investment in our community. However, it's important to note $8.5 million of that is in a building that's already on our tax rolls. So what you're participating in here is $85,000 for the new capital investment in our community, and then the remainder for the new jobs that are being created in our community. So just to confirm, this fits well within the principles established in Part A.
Thank you. Motion?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We're happy to have you, and I hope that you'll consider moving from California to Virginia. We have the surf.
Well, yesterday, when I left, it was 88 degrees.
But I'm sure that the waves were smaller.
Our water's warmer.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The next one is our friends from, yeah. Request for approval of a resolution authorizing an award of $20,000 to G2 Ops expansion. Ray.
Yes, thank you very much. I'd like to recognize at this time Tracy Gregorio and Bob Gregorio are with us.
Thank you.
As you see, the disclosures for the applicant up on your screen now. And the owner of the building that they're currently leasing.
Thank you.
G2 Ops, a woman-owned small business providing system engineering, model-based systems engineering, cybersecurity, and other related areas. In 2017, they received a EDIP from the authority for $25,000, and that was satisfied in August of 2018. They're very active with educational facilities in our community, including ODU, Norfolk State, Tidewater Community College, and play a role in the cyber effort and activities for the Commonwealth of Virginia also. They are a Inc. 5000 fastest growing private company listing, have made that, and certainly a great company here in Virginia Beach. They're located at 2829 Guardian Lane, which is right next to Lynn Haven Mall off of Lynn Haven Parkway. And some of the customers they serve, a lot of DoD related, as you see from this particular slide. In this particular project, the construction for their expansion is a little over $106,000. FF&E, machinery and tools, $284,000 for a total of $390,000 investment. From this, they will be adding 10 new full-time jobs and also add to the 29 that they currently have. A great salary that they're paying their employees over there. $65,000 is what they'll be paying for the new jobs created. So we request approval of a resolution granting $20,000 in EDIP Part A awards based solely on the 10 new jobs created, not based on the 29 retained or new corporate investment. Be glad to answer any questions at this time.
Questions? Motion?
Move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Would you like to add something? We're so happy to have you with
Yes,
us.
yes, I'd like to thank you for representing the taxpayers. I think we did well with the last investment, our revenue has doubled. We do have an office in San Diego also, and we would love to get out of there. We have our first engineer moving from San Diego to Virginia Beach. He'll
Good.
start January
Good.
6th, so the migration is beginning.
Thank
So,
you.
But we do thank you, and thank you, Ray,
Thank
for
you.
your support.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next, approves of a resolution modifying the recapture agreement for GTS. Ray, again, thank you.
GTS, as many of you know, was a major project that we announced several years ago. If you could go back to the previous slide. They have finally, after a lot of work getting the grounds ready, they have finally started construction of the new building. You'll see in the below the right-hand corner there that it's starting to look good. By the way, I do want to recognize Houston Spitzer, the president that's with us, and Tom Koppis, their CFO. Thank you so much for being with us today. GTS, also known as Management Services Company, is a privately held SWAM business. They started right here in Virginia Beach in 1997, a tremendous success story for our community. Terry Spitzer and Houston Spitzer are the CEO and president. They're currently located over on Lynn Haven Parkway, right across the mall. They have other locations in Florida, California, and Northern Virginia. What they do is they concentrate on mission-critical combat systems and other areas specifically geared towards the defense of our country. The disclosures, I'll give you a moment to see there. And again, a picture of the side of the building. It goes back probably about 1 or 2 city blocks. It's a tremendous sized building. The project there you see in the project site is what they originally purchased from the Development Authority, 69 acres of city-owned property. 30 of those acres were developable. It was formerly part of a golf center there. APZ 2 easements were complied on August 24th, 2017. The Braithwaite property there at the bottom, there were some areas there that they decided that they would want to purchase, again, to provide additional area for their project and for the security of what they're doing there. What they'll be doing is advanced carbon fiber research development in a production center, phase 1, 540,000 square feet. Its anticipated completion date this coming March. And as of yesterday, the project investment in this has been over $15 million. The EDIP granted on December 19th, 2017, $1.8 million and an incentive matched by the state. The project capital investment of $54.7 million. What we're here in front of you today for is the company requests modifications to the existing agreement to include the purchase of the Braithwaite property, $750,000 as part of the GTS development site to be credited towards the minimum project investment of $30 million. Also to extend the performance period of the EDIP grant from December 19, 2020 until June 20, 2022. This coincides with the state's opportunity, Commonwealth Opportunity Fund grant period that was awarded for this project. They certainly, going through this process, had quite a few issues dealing with the land there that significantly slowed down the project. They've overcome that, and as you see, they're out of the ground now with plans to open end of the first quarter. So we'd like to ask for this modification at this particular point in time.
Questions? Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? I don't know if you all have noticed or not, but the last 3 big companies were run by
Women.
women. We're happy to have you here. Thank you. It's probably not appropriate. But it's okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have a briefing regarding letter of intent for purchase of 6 acres, Innovation Park. Or why not?
Madam Chair, authority members, good morning.
Good morning.
Come before you for why not,
I love that.
and the disclosures for your considerations are here. This is the project summary. The letter of intent was to purchase 6 acres. They're going to construct 45,000 square feet, with approximately 10,000 square feet for the corporate headquarters, and then the 35 additional square feet will be for office space, medical office space at Princess Anne Commons. And this will serve as the anchor building for Innovation Park. This is the layout going into Innovation Park now. There's a road being designed there now if you ride by there on Princess Anne Road. This is the rendering of the building that Why Not has put forth. The recommendation, before we bring the term sheet to you, is to approve the sale of 6 acres in Innovation Park based on capital investment of $1.8 million. And this is at $300,000 per acre. And I'll take any questions you all have now.
Questions? Did anyone hear from Warren?
No, but we were on the phone with him this morning.
Okay, good.
But
Oh, do you want to say it, please?
yeah, and so again, what we're asking for here is the ability to build, to complete a sales agreement built around these terms and come back to you in 1 month. But this is an exciting project for us. One, it kicks off activity in the Innovation Park. It fits within the proffers that exist today because of the medical office components that'll be on the first 2 floors. And then most importantly, this allows us to keep a local business that started here, that is growing here and is now expanding out of our region here. I mean, to make this the corporate headquarters and base of operations for Why Not, I guess in perpetuity as they grow. So we're very excited about this.
And they're such a good company. They have our Wednesdays event here.
That's right.
And I think this for the Sandler Center.
That's right, very engaged in the community.
thank you.
I mean, everything from Why Not Wednesdays to Little League, so I mean, great
Okay.
company.
So we
Okay, great.
can-
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We have multiple sign variants for steel.
We
Do you
didn't
have
vote on that one yet.
Do we need to vote on this? We need to approve the terms for good? We're good?
Good
Good
May I have
morning,
a-
Madam Chair, members of the
thought you said
Economic
you.
Development Authority. So, Steel is proposing to replace 6 of their existing mounted signs at different locations in the city. The first one, or the first 3 at 536 and 528 Viking Drive, they pretty much all the signs, they require variances from the Oceana West Industrial Park signs restrictions. One is basically to allow the total sign square footage to exceed the maximum 110 square feet, and 2 of them, for the wall-mounted signs, they're pretty much exactly the same, except the existing is 24 square feet, and they would require a variance of 97.5. Pretty much the rest of the locations are the same. They're requesting same variance for wall-mounted signs, 601 Central Drive, 825 London Bridge, 2525 International Parkway. So the request is to allow them, is your consideration to allow them for the variance.
When we went to the opening, and here is the new facility, we were so proud of Peter. Right, Joe? Because you were there. What did they say about him or some of the things?
Well, he was, Peter was in charge of all the construction over there at the steel, okay? I think he's been with the company for 35 years.
He was very
35
young.
years, and I was in charge of all the construction over there,
And
of course now it works for them as a liaison.
Thank you.
And it was Peter, I didn't realize it was Peter who made the decision to bring the company to Virginia Beach of all the options they had on the East Coast. And it's so impressive to see how steel has grown in this community. It's truly amazing and impressive, and we appreciate you making the decision to come
Yes,
here.
Peter,
Years
thank
ago,
you.
yeah.
I
Okay.
think it's good to have the name of the building so that
Here we go.
it lets people know that this exciting brand is housed here. And it's the US location for this
It's amazing.
company that's always doing advertising. It's in people's garages. I mean, it's really, I think, a really good thing to let people know that this is where these things are manufactured.
I'll move it.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you so much. And thank you, Peter. Global Links Data Centers, request for extension of due diligence. Mr. Adams.
Yeah, this is straightforward. No other changes to the agreement that you've already approved. We're requesting just a 180-day extension of the due diligence period so that he can continue his work. That's all
Thank
this
you.
is.
Was it
Motion?
$20,000 additional deposit?
Oh, and an additional 20,000, thank you.
Motion?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, Bravo Cafe, extension of term for Bravo Cafe agreement. Mr. Stiles.
Yes, ma'am. This is an outdoor cafe in your plaza at Town Center next door. It's about 1,200 square feet. It's been there since the place opened 15 years ago, probably. The rent is currently $4.60 a foot. That has been increasing by 3% each year. They've asked for an additional 5 years. Money goes into the SSD, I believe, and there have been no problems, and we would ask your approval.
Thank you, sir. Is there a motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Someone here from?
Yep, no one from Bravo.
Bravo, thank you.
But everyone at Town Center thanks you for allowing us to continue eating outside when it's nice.
Do they pay like year-round for that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see, we have, any commissioners have a comment or anything they'd like to say? I want to thank you all for your support of the Development Authority and hope that that everyone will try to come to our toned-down small reception, which is going to be on Thursday, the 12th. And so please, let Olivia know by the 5th, is it? Thank you so much. Do you have anything to add, sir?
I have just one quick thing, and it's just, I want to take a moment to thank this body for your continuing support of the work that we do here. And just to sort of provide some context on that, today we did 3 EDIPs that totaled a $400,000 investment across 3 that you've made in our community. That $400,000 investment is proposed to add 360 new jobs to our community. And I did some quick math here. It's just over $13 million in new payroll here in the city of Virginia Beach. And so, and we're not talking about and not included in that is the jobs that were maintained and will continue to be here. That's just the new jobs that were added, that you all added to our economy today. So, thank you for your support of the work that we're doing here, and we will we'll continue to bring them in.
Thank you. And Julie, we certainly appreciate your help with it all. Okay, where's the closed session?
And I got a new employee. I'm sorry.
Okay, why don't you introduce them?
Well, and I tell you what, David, why don't you introduce Tina?
Sure. Good morning. I would like to introduce our newest employee, Tina Collins, who's here to help us. As you know, we've had some movement in the department, and Tina's here with quite a bit of experience in governmental accounting and is going to help us with some of our accounting functions here in the department. And she's doing a great job so far. We're really glad to have her.
Thank you. We're very happy to have you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Whereas the city of Virginia, what I could say now.
Yep.
I'm going to, sweetheart, get the motion.
I'm on the wrong page.
That's, excuse me. I do what he says.
Satisfied the attorney.
Yes.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to recess into closed session pursuant to the exemption from open meeting allowed by section 2.2-3711 Code of Virginia as amended for the following purposes. Publicly held property, discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose or the deposition of the publicly held real property where discussion in open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy for the public body pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711A3. Prospective business or industry. Discussion concerning a prospective business or industry or the expansion of an existing business where no previous announcement has been made of the business or industry's interest in locating and expanding its facilities in the community pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711A5. Now, can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
David Byrne,
Yeah.
William Brunke,
Yes.
Naka Shazor,
Yes.
Taylor Franklin,
Yes.
Peter Mueller,
Yes.
Lisa Murphy,
Yes.
Standing,
Yes.
Joe Strange,
Yes.
Scott Woods.
Yes, thank you.